Do you remember TISWAS, with its flying custard pies and Chris Tarrant and Lenny Henry's maniacal laughter? From 1974 to 1982, they were the faces of Saturday morning chaos and joy. But today, the lives of 15 cast members have taken heartbreaking turns. Prison sentences, cancer diagnoses, and dramatic physical decline. In this video, we'll explore what really happened to this cast, their real names, and where they are today. We'll also uncover what led to their dramatic career turns. Some of their transformations might just surprise you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. Gary Glitter as himself. Gary Glitter, born May 8, 1944, in Banbury, Oxfordshire, England. When Glitter was 37, he appeared as himself, a flamboyant glam rock star with explosive stage presence, on TISWAS in 1981. Dressed in glittering outfits and armed with boundless energy, he brought the wild spirit of the 1970s straight into the chaos of Saturday morning TV. Known for hits like Rock and Roll, Parts 1 and 2, Glitter was once the face of excess, with a multi-million-pound fortune at the height of his fame. But his glittering persona would eventually be shattered by horrific crimes. Convicted multiple times for child sexual abuse and possession of child pornography, Glitter would spend over a decade behind bars. His time in prison, marked by harsh conditions and total isolation, left him physically and mentally wrecked. He underwent heart surgery while incarcerated, a consequence of years of reckless living, but even that couldn't prevent the rapid decline. In one rare sighting after his release, Glitter looked nearly unrecognizable. Sunken eyes, hair nearly gone, liver spots covering his skin, a hollow shell of the man he once was. Those who've encountered him describe a shadow of a person, whispering weakly and walking with alarming fragility. Now, at 81 in 2025, Glitter lives in complete seclusion, banned from public appearances and with his music pulled from broadcast. Once an icon of glam rock, he now stands as a grim warning of what happens when fame masks depravity. His story began on the dazzling set of TISWAS, but ended in the shadows of prison and societal exile, a man history would rather forget. David Rapaort as himself. David Rapaort, born November 23, 1951, in London, England. At 31, he appeared as himself, a witty and uniquely charismatic presenter, on TISWAS in 1982. With razor-sharp timing and infectious energy, Rapaort lit up the screen, defying industry prejudice with sheer talent and charm. He rose to fame as Randall in Time Bandits, 1981, and was hailed as one of the most promising stars of his time. But behind the smile, Rapaort battled deep depression and relentless typecasting due to his short stature. He often spoke of the heartbreak of being denied roles and the toll it took on his mental health. Alcohol became his escape, and those close to him recalled sleepless nights, gaunt features, and an ever-present sense of fatigue in his final years. In a moment of unbearable despair, Rapaort took his own life on May 2, 1990, in Los Angeles, California. He was just 38. His legacy lives on through Time Bandits and TISWAS, but his tragic death is a stark reminder of the silent struggles so many endure behind the scenes. Chris Tarrant as himself. Chris Tarrant, born October 10, 1946, in Reading, Berkshire, England. At 28, he played himself, the lively, cheeky, quick-witted host who turned TISWAS into a Saturday morning phenomenon in 1974. Tarrant was the soul of the show, fearlessly navigating custard pie chaos, slapstick mayhem, and unruly live segments with a grin that made him unforgettable. From humble beginnings in local radio, Tarrant used TISWAS as his springboard, eventually reaching stratospheric fame with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, 1998 to 2014, amassing an estimated £20 million net worth. But behind the success were fractures. In 2007, a high-profile and bitter divorce from Ingrid Tarant, sparked by infidelity rumors, turned him into tabloid fodder. His party-filled younger years, fueled by alcohol and cigarettes, caught up with him. He later revealed he had battled high blood pressure and narrowly avoided a stroke in 2014. Now, at 79 in 2025, Tarant still appears in documentaries and radio shows, but the wild TISWAS energy has been replaced by a more subdued presence. Former colleagues say he struggles with insomnia, and recent photos show a visibly older man with pale skin and a faint hand tremor, aging not just from time, but from years under the spotlight. Sally James as herself. Sally James, born May 10, 1950, in Chingford, Essex, England. At 27, she appeared as herself, a charming host with a natural sense of humor, on TISWAS in 1977. James was the heart of the show, always game for messy pranks, from water splashes to unpredictable guest antics, bringing warmth and joy to Saturday mornings. From the theater stage to children's TV, James quickly became a beloved face in millions of homes. But behind the cameras, her personal life was anything but smooth. Her marriage to Mike Smith was often under media scrutiny, and tensions, especially after she stepped back from television, led to emotionally taxing periods. As a female host in the 1970s, James faced heavy gender bias, often judged more on looks than talent. She once underwent minor cosmetic procedures to maintain her youthful image, but the results left her features noticeably stiffer, losing the natural expression that had once been her trademark. In a rare interview, she admitted to battling mild depression after leaving TISWAS, feeling forgotten by an industry she once helped shape. Now 75 in 2025, James occasionally appears on nostalgia specials, but largely focuses on business and family. When asked about TISWAS, she calls it the best time of her life, though her eyes hint at regrets over missed opportunities. Recent photos show a more tired figure, with pale skin and a slower gait. Phil Collins as himself. Phil Collins, born January 30th, 1951 in Chiswick, London, England. At 29, he appeared as himself, a vibrant Genesis frontman and promising solo artist, on TISWAS in 1980. Collins lit up the show with humor and warmth, charming audiences with his versatility and disarming smile. With an estimated net worth of $300 million and multiple Grammy wins, Collins became a defining music icon of the 1980s. But his life unraveled in private. A serious spinal injury in 2007, caused by years of poor drumming posture, left him unable to play instruments, plunging him into depression. His third divorce from Orianne Sevy in 2008, one of the most expensive in British history at £25 million, took an emotional toll. Collins admitted to heavy drinking during this time, which led to acute pancreatitis and repeated hospital stays. He nearly died in 2011 when his liver began shutting down. Now 74 in 2025, Collins rarely performs. He is often seen in a wheelchair, his face marked with liver spots, hair nearly gone and voice weakened. Fans at his final concert described him as a shadow of his former self, frail, quiet, and heartbreakingly distant from the powerhouse he once was. Lenny Henry as himself. Lenny Henry, born August 29, 1958 in Dudley, West Midlands, England. At 20, he appeared as himself, a bold young comedian with explosive confidence, on TISWAS in 1978. Henry was a breath of fresh air, delivering smart sketches and breaking ground as one of the first black stars on British television, inspiring an entire generation. From his New Faces debut, Henry rose to fame with The Lenny Henry Show and co-founded Comic Relief in 1985, amassing a net worth of around £9 million. But his journey was far from easy. As a black entertainer in the 1970s and 80s, Henry endured relentless racism, from hate mail to isolation within the industry. He once recalled being heckled on stage, an experience that left him questioning his self-worth. His 2010 divorce from Dawn French after 25 years of marriage came as a public shock and sent him into a depressive spiral. Henry admitted to turning to alcohol to cope. While never fully addicted, the habit damaged his liver and contributed to long-term health issues. At 67 in 2025, Henry still performs and advocates for diversity, but every appearance seems to carry invisible scars. He once said TISWAS gave him his first taste of freedom, but the battle against prejudice left lasting marks, deep wrinkles, silver hair, and a weary gaze. Recent photos show significant weight gain, and close friends reveal he often struggles with fatigue from an overloaded work schedule. Tippy Hedrin as self. Tippy Hedrin, born Natalie K. Hedrin on January 19, 1930, in New Ulm, Minnesota, USA. At 44 years old, Hedrin appeared as herself in TISWAS in 1974, bringing her poised elegance and quiet strength to the chaotic, playful energy of the British children's show. Her presence was a bridge between old Hollywood and the vibrant 1970s, a star who could command attention with a single glance. Hedrin's ascent to fame began not in acting, but in modeling, gracing the covers of Life and Glamour in the 1950s after moving to New York City. Discovered by Alfred Hitchcock in a 1961 commercial for a diet drink, she was cast in The Birds, a role that skyrocketed her to stardom but came at a steep cost. Her performance as Melanie Daniels, a socialite terrorized by inexplicable bird attacks, earned critical acclaim, but the filming process was grueling. Hedrin endured real bird attacks that left her physically injured, including a near-blinding incident when a seagull struck her face. Her subsequent role in Marnie showcased her depth as a compulsive thief with deep-seated trauma, but it cemented a darker chapter with Hitchcock. In her 2016 memoir, Tippy, Hedrin detailed Hitchcock's obsessive behavior, alleging he sexually assaulted her twice and retaliated on set when she rebuffed him, a scandal that shocked Hollywood and fueled discussions about power dynamics in the industry. These revelations, dramatized in the 2012 BBC film The Girl, painted Hedrin as a survivor of a predatory system, her courage in speaking out decades later inspiring a new generation. In February 2024, representatives confirmed Hedrin was battling dementia, a diagnosis that has left her unable to recall her storied career. Despite this, Hedrin celebrated her 95th birthday in January 2025 with Melanie, who described her as happy, healthy, and feisty on Instagram, sharing rare photos of Hedrin enjoying cake and wearing festive glasses. Sylvester McCoy as himself. Sylvester McCoy, born August 20, 1943, in Dunoon, Scotland. At 35, he appeared as himself, a quirky slapstick showman, on TISWAS in 1978. McCoy was the eccentric wild card, known for outlandish stunts and spontaneous gags that left audiences in fits of laughter. From street performer to screen actor, McCoy rose to fame as the Seventh Doctor in Doctor Who, 1987 to 1989, and later as Radagast the Brown in the Hobbit trilogy, 2012 to 2014. But beneath the eccentricity was a childhood of pain. His father died before he was born, and his mother suffered mental health issues. These early wounds fueled a lifelong battle with anxiety. To cope, McCoy became a heavy smoker, which eventually led to chronic lung problems. After Doctor Who, he entered a financially precarious phase, forcing him to live frugally and work tirelessly to stay afloat. Now, 82 in 2025, McCoy still attends fan events and acts on stage, carrying with him a passion that never faded. Yet he has admitted that the struggle to maintain a career has come at a cost. Fans who meet him today often describe him as frailer, with pale skin and a raspy voice weakened by age. When he smiles, he still radiates warmth, but his eyes betray the quiet sadness of a man who has endured far more than he ever showed. Olivia Newton-John as herself. Olivia Newton-John, born September 26, 1948, in Cambridge, England. At 30, she appeared as herself on TISWAS in 1978, a radiant singer with a sweet voice and warm smile. Olivia brought grace and positive energy to the show, captivating audiences with her charm and undeniable talent. With multiple Grammy Awards and a net worth of around $60 million, she was a global icon thanks to Grease, 1978. But behind the fame was a long and painful battle with breast cancer, first diagnosed in 1992 and recurring multiple times. Chemotherapy and surgeries left her physically weakened, and her 1995 divorce from Matt Lattanzi, strained by the weight of illness, plunged her into periods of depression. She once admitted to using sedatives to manage anxiety. While she was never addicted, it took a toll on her health. Once the picture of golden beauty, Olivia's appearance changed dramatically before her death. Her face thinned, her hair fell out from treatment, and her eyes, though still resilient, revealed deep exhaustion. In her final public photos, she appeared frail, her voice barely a whisper. Olivia passed away on August 8, 2022 in California at the age of 73, leaving behind a legacy of strength, grace, and extraordinary talent. Paul McCartney as himself. Paul McCartney, born June 18, 1942, in Liverpool, England. At 37, he appeared as himself on TISWAS in 1979, a living legend with effortless charisma. McCartney brought the approachable humor of a former Beatle to the set, enchanting fans with timeless talent and a down-to-earth demeanor. With a net worth exceeding $1.2 billion and countless Grammy Awards, McCartney is one of the most influential artists in music history. But his personal life has been anything but smooth. The death of his beloved wife Linda from cancer in 1998 left him devastated, and his bitter 2008 divorce from Heather Mills, with accusations of infidelity and public battles, turned him into tabloid prey. He has openly discussed past drug use in the 1960s and 70s, which later impacted his lung health. After his divorce, McCartney spiraled into depression and turned to alcohol as a coping mechanism, resulting in liver complications. Now at 83 in 2025, McCartney still performs globally, but each song he sings seems to carry echoes of personal loss. Recent photos show him moving more slowly, his complexion pale, a quiet reminder that even icons are human. Adam Ant as himself. Adam Ant, born November 3, 1954, in Marylebone, London. At 26, he appeared as himself on TISWAS in 1980, a flamboyant post-punk star with electrifying style and fierce originality. Ant lit up the stage with bold costumes and unfiltered charisma, drawing fans in with fearless energy. With a net worth around $10 million, he defined 1980s glam with Kings of the Wild Frontier. But behind the spectacle, he struggled with bipolar disorder, which led him into darkness. In 2002, he was arrested for throwing a brick through a pub window and brandishing a fake gun, an episode that landed him in psychiatric care. Past drug use further damaged his health, and he later admitted nearly dying from an overdose. He underwent cosmetic surgery in an attempt to maintain his image, but the results left his face unnaturally taut. Now 71 in 2025, Ant still performs, but every note is a testament to a man who's battled his demons. Recent photos show a thinner frame, proof that even those once defined by their power and presence can fade in the face of time and struggle. Giant Haystacks as himself. Giant Haystacks, born October 10, 1946, in London, England. At 35, he appeared as himself on TISWAS in 1981, a towering wrestler with a surprising sense of humor. Haystacks was a phenomenon, a gentle giant whose massive frame and cheerful spirit won over audiences of all ages. Standing at over 2 meters tall and weighing more than 270 kilograms, Haystacks carved out a legendary career in British wrestling. He was revered not only for his brute strength but also for his stage presence, which made him a fan favorite wherever he went. Yet, as is often the case with icons of physical prowess, even giants are not immune to time and illness. In the late 1990s, he was diagnosed with lymphoma, a cruel disease that progressed with alarming speed. Long before his diagnosis, however, the years of relentless punishment in the ring had already begun to exact their price. Decades of brutal matches and untreated injuries had left his body battered and weakened. He would later admit that he relied on high-dose painkillers simply to make it through his performances, a testament to both his suffering and his dedication to his craft. On November 29, 1998, Giant Haystacks passed away in Prestwich, England, at the age of 52. For those who knew him best, his final months were especially heartbreaking. They described a man who, once capable of commanding entire arenas, now struggled even to walk. And yet, despite the physical decline and the pain he endured, Haystacks left behind a legacy that remains deeply embedded in the history of professional wrestling. Mickey Dolenz as himself. Mickey Dolenz, born March 8, 1945 in Los Angeles, California. At 33, he appeared as himself on TISWAS in 1978, a lively, beloved star of the Monkees whose humor and charm brought sunshine to every screen. Dolenz was the heartthrob of a generation, famous for his grin and boyish warmth. With a net worth around $9 million, he rose to fame with Daydream Believer. But carrying the weight of the Monkees' legacy, especially after the loss of other band members, took a toll. Dolenz admitted to drug use in the 1970s, which later impacted his lung health. His 1991 divorce from Trina Dow, citing lifestyle clashes, led to a bout of depression, during which he turned to alcohol. Though he recovered, the scars remained. Now, at 80 in 2025, Dolan still performs, but each appearance carries the weight of a bygone era. His once youthful face is now deeply lined, his white hair thin, and his gaze often tired, bearing the burden of a musical legacy that defined a generation. David Prowse as himself. David Prowse, born July 1, 1935 in Bristol, England. At 45, he appeared as himself on TISWAS in 1980, a gentle giant with the intimidating presence of Darth Vader and the warm heart of a family favorite. Prowse was a sensation, bringing strength and humor to the screen, beloved for the contrast between his towering physique and kind personality. With a net worth of around $5 million, Prowse became a global icon through Star Wars. Yet, a long-standing conflict with George Lucas over his role and voice replacement in the franchise left him deeply embittered. Later in life, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and suffered from joint problems caused by his early bodybuilding career. He admitted to relying on strong painkillers for chronic pain, which eventually damaged his liver. Prowse passed away on November 28, 2020, in England, at age 85. Those close to him described a man who, in his final years, barely remembered his past, with a vacant stare and faint voice. His journey may have started with the laughter of TISWAS, but it ended in the silence of illness, a legacy both powerful and profoundly fragile. Sarah Brightman as herself. Sarah Brightman, born August 14, 1960, in Berkhamsted, Hertfordshire, England. At 19, she appeared as herself on TISWAS in 1979, a dazzling young star from Hot Gossip with a bold stage presence and undeniable charm. Brightman was a vibrant spark on the show, admired for her confidence, beauty, and growing vocal talent. With a net worth of about $60 million and worldwide acclaim as Christine Daae in The Phantom of the Opera, she became a legend of musical theater. But her 1990 divorce from Andrew Lloyd Webber, strained by career pressures and relentless media, left her emotionally shattered. She admitted to undergoing cosmetic procedures to maintain her youthful look, though the results were criticized for making her face appear stiff and unnatural. During one of her most difficult periods, Brightman battled anxiety and revealed that she relied on sedatives, which took a toll on her health. Now, at 65 in 2025, she continues to perform globally, every song echoing her endurance and survival through pain and pressure. Paul Shane as himself. Paul Shane, born June 19, 1940, in Rotherham, Yorkshire, England. At 42, he appeared as himself on TISWAS in 1982, a naturally funny man whose warmth and wit made him a crowd favorite. With his charm from high to high, Shane brought levity and laughter, turning everyday moments into comedy gold. With an estimated net worth of £2 million, Shane was a staple of British comedy. But heart disease diagnosed later in life, combined with his hard-partying youth, gradually wore him down. Years of relentless work on stage and in clubs damaged his body, and he confessed to using alcohol as a coping mechanism, eventually harming his liver. Facing mounting medical bills, Shane fell into debt and continued working well into his later years to stay afloat. He passed away on May 16, 2013 in South Yorkshire at age 72 following a short illness. Once known for his round face and booming laugh, he became frail and unrecognizable in his final days. His frame thinner, his smile faded, his eyes tired. Yet the legacy he left behind remains in every laugh he gave the world. From the fall of Gary Glitter to the health battles of Olivia Newton-John and Phil Collins, each life is a chapter filled with drama, triumph, and tragedy. Which actor or moment impacted you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more then and now stories. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.